Hello everyone, I am Gretchen Peklavich, and before I begin, there's a few things I want to address in my skills videos. So I did just have surgery, and I do have like drainage tubes attached to me. So for the videos, I did my best, and I tried to put on a professional dress, but if you see me fidgeting with the dress at all, that's just because I had surgery and I'm trying to make sure my drainage tubes aren't showing. Another thing would be is that I do have my niece here, and she's only a few months old, so she is crying in some of the videos. I did retake a lot of the videos and tried my best to not have her crying, but if the moment with my nephew, as you'll see, was what was very fitting, I did include the clip. And lastly, I just want to say, forgive my camera quality. I am in a recliner right now, just because of my surgery. And yeah, so for this presentation, I'm going to be walking you through my experience practicing tracking skills. And these are going to be shown throughout two different videos. In my videos, I tried my best to use both approaches, so tracking the client and trapping the object. And then I'm going to share how that went, what I learned, and then what I'd do differently next time. So, as we've gone over in class, we know what tracking is. And tracking is about staying in the present and verbalizing observations without interpreting or leading. And this gives the child a space to explore their world and builds trust within the child. So, as I stated, I tried my best to use both approaches to tracking. So, approach one would be tracking the client's actions, and approach two would be tracking objects. So depending on what my nephew was focused on, it made more sense to do one more than the other. And I found myself moving between the two very naturally and just kind of going along with how my nephew was playing. Some of the guidelines I followed that we talked about in class were avoiding labeling objects, being mindful, especially when the child is labeling things or when I'm asking the child to label things, trying to use neutral observational language, and then letting the child lead the play. This was especially important with the younger child, my nephew. I had to remind myself not to jump in with assumptions or names for things unless Carter introduced them first. And Carter is my nephew. So a little bit about my volunteer. My volunteer is 2.5 years old. He's my nephew Carter. I spoke with his mom, my sister, and kind of explained that this was for practice only. The videos were educational and they weren't clinical. And Carter is modeled after young children that I may work with in the future. So Carter was a great sport. It was a good learning experience for me because his age made some skills more challenging, but it gave me a real sense of how this might look in practice. Yeah?
It's not this. Tires.
Yeah? Tires.
Look at tires. Go.
Yeah. You unscrewing those?
Yeah.
You have a new tool there. Wow. A hammer. You're hammering the chair?
Do that.
Screwdriver. Now you're unscrewing the screw.
Yeah.
So in this clip, I focused on what Carter was physically doing. I tried to mirror his actions a little bit with some neutral language, and I avoided jumping ahead or trying to label his play. A lot of the things I was saying were things that he would say, like he said screwdriver. So I was like, oh, okay, screwdriver. I wasn't labeling the screwdriver until he labeled it. On to our next video. Whoa, you turned the lights on. Yeah. You turned the lights on your fire truck. Wow. Now you're moving your fire truck out here.
The house.
A hose?
Yeah.
Are you using the hose? Are you putting the hose back on the fire truck now? Yeah. Oh wow, you turned the lights on again. The fire truck is moving. Is the truck driving on me?
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah. You have more of those? Yeah. Are you looking for them? You pushing the monster truck around? Now you're pushing your other car around. Is that a police car? Yeah, it's a police car. That's cool. Wow. That police car can go fast. Yeah? Wow, he's going over everything. Is he driving on top of the baby's playmat? What did you find?
Cheers.
There's a Cheerio.
Yes.
Was a Cheerio in the police car?
Yes.
Whoa! Are you taking the Cheerios out?
Yeah.
Yeah? The Cheerios don't belong in there?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're throwing them out? Oh, are you giving the baby her toy? It's very nice of you. Is the police car on the baby's playmat?
Yeah.
Yeah? Wow, that police car is fast. You driving him fast? Oh, the police car's backing up. Now he's going forward. Wow, you drive him very fast. Wow, he's a very fast car.
Yeah. Chase.
Chase? Is that the car's name? Oh, really? You have more trucks. So in the beginning here, I'm still tracking Carter's actions, but then towards the middle-ish, I focus more on what the toys were doing. I try to stay in the present and try to be descriptive, while still letting Carter take name in leading things, such as Chase and Cheerios, and then kind of explaining things to me. So like the Cheerios didn't belong in the police car. So I kind of summarized what he was saying there. So next, I noticed some things. I noticed myself asking questions like, is that a police car? Instead of saying, that's a police car. Like more of a question instead of a statement. So instead of tracking what was just happening, I was forming them into questions. I think it came from wanting to be careful and respective, but I realized sometimes it did take the lead away from Carter when I said like something about the Cheerios. I said the Cheerios don't belong in there. He didn't say anything about that, but he was taking the Cheerios out of the car, so I kind of led there and made an assumption. So some things I need to try to work on is trying to avoid assuming. And something I wanted to see is if Carter would correct or confirm, which he did throughout the video, which was good. Another thing I noticed is that sitting in a chair felt really less natural. I wanted to get on the floor with him and play with him, and that's something that an aunt would do. And it might not be out of line for a therapist to do either, but since I just had my surgery, I did have to sit in the chair. And there was a few times I noticed I was looking at the camera. And I was simply doing this to make sure my dress was in an appropriate place, just because I had drainage tubes and I just felt like it was pulling up a few times. So just to let you know, that's why I was looking at the camera. So for my reflections, I want to say that this is a very humbling experience. Trucking may seem really simple on paper. It's like, oh, I just described what they're doing. But it takes some real awareness to stay grounded in the moment and let the child lead fully and not assume or lead yourself. So I'm really looking forward to improving this skill more. And overall, something I need to just work on is more statements and fewer questions, as I stated in the past slide. So thank you so much for your time. I'd love to hear what you noticed in my practice and what strategies helped you stay in the best tracking mindset, and some things that I can work on, because I want to be the best therapist I can be. Thank you so much. Have a great day.